Hello, I am Addison, and this is Cannabis ClipNotes presented by Sara Salazar. Sara is the founder of BrandRave Marketing, a women and minority owned creative branding agency based in Las Vegas that helps businesses bring their brand to life through curated promotional products, intentional design, and creative brand solutions. She brings nearly 2 decades of experience in sales, marketing, and project management, with a career spanning cannabis, gaming, manufacturing, higher education, and professional services. Sara has worked with dispensaries, ancillary providers, casinos, and startups, helping them build trust, create impactful experiences, and strengthen their brand presence. Before launching Brand Rave in 2023, Sara managed client programs and production teams for large scale merchandise initiatives, earning a reputation for reliability, creativity, and problem solving under pressure. She studied business administration at the University of California, Riverside, where she built the foundation for her career in client relations and brand development. She founded Brand Rave with the belief that branding should feel intentional, collaborative, and people focused. Today, she blends creative vision with operational expertise to deliver more than just promotional products, offering businesses thoughtful solutions that make their brand stand out across every touch point. So, Sara, thank you again for doing this 4-part series. Um, so, now that in the first one we discovered why legitimacy matters in cannabis, talk about first impressions. How powerful is that first impression?
Well, thank you, Addison, again for having me. And yeah, like you mentioned in the first part, we covered the why legitimacy is survival in cannabis. So now in part two, we're going to talk about first impressions because professionalism speaks way before you do. So what I've noticed, not just in the cannabis industry, but in general, too many businesses cut corners by giving away cheap giveaways or having sloppy branding. And that can really mean anything: a flimsy pen, a bag that tears, mismatched designs, colors, not having brand guidelines. They really do just scream temporary. It's again it doesn't get the attention that you should. It doesn't build on your brand, and again, the credibility isn't always there. So again, this is why branding is so important. um, and okay, so but there is a flip side, I think, that even 2 or 3 consistent items across the board can give you that professionalism, give you that great, good first impression. And this can be something simple like staff apparel. Think about it. So, I tend to wear polos where it's just Brand Rave logo, and I have something simple as a QR code. It's not in your face. It's very minimal, and consistent with my brand, which for me it's minimalist, because I like or I enjoy. Helping my customers shine. They're the focal point. They should always be the focal point. Think of Brand Rave as kind of your behind the scenes buddy, where we just kind of make you shine. So again, something like cheap promo can really affect that perceived or perception, that your company gets. So again, here, like if you look at the images, yes, and I'll admit these are almost AI generated, but I really wanted to get some examples of, a cheap lighter, a cheap notebook versus, just something a little bit more upscale, something simple. That you normally see out on a trade show, which would be, your rolling trays, water bottles, a tote. So think about it that way, matching totes with your staff apparel, even stickers, a really good quality sticker, and something that really gets your point across. It really signals that you're established. Even if you're brand new to the industry, even if you're trying to build a name for yourself, even if you're trying to find investors, something solid, something that is, again, just good quality is something that will make you stand out. So again, consistency across the board. You want to have your matching items, 2 to 3 design pieces. Will always, 2 to 3 well designed pieces will always beat your 30 random ones. And I'll show you some examples so you kind of get an idea as to what that would look like. And I do have a checklist that I try to follow that, checks for professional first impressions, which that would include your colors, quality, fonts, and pretty much the overall vibe that your brand gives out. And I think if you have those then you're already ahead of the game, because not many people have that in the industry. And, and I'm not talking about flashy. I feel like a lot of the cannabis industry is perceived as like, oh, we're going to spend money, or we're going to make things luxury, or we're going to just go all out. Again, no, we're talking about those simple day-to-day items, the useful items that you want to have as part of your brand. And I think that having that, it just creates a good solid first impression, which will open doors for you across the board, because you'll have your consumers, you'll have your investors, and your overall team as well, because a good solid piece will catch someone's attention immediately. I'm the type of person, and I think it's because I work in in branding and in marketing, that if I spot a sticker out in the wild or even at the drive-thru, I actually posted something on LinkedIn about it. It was a cannabis brand out in California, and I'm in Las Vegas, and I was able to spot that sticker, and I giggled as I drove past it, because I'm like, okay, I know who they are. And so again, just think of the impressions and that first impression that you're giving out, because you might not be walking around as the business owner, slapping stickers on a wall, or handing out the pens, or selling. If you're a dispensary owner, selling at the dispensary owner, you have consumers and you have people who will come on board, and they'll spread that out. A consumer will gladly get a sticker, and it'll end up in a random place in a random time. And I had also where I found some in Chicago, and I'm here in the West Coast. So again, just kind of keep that in mind, and what kind of first impression you're out there, you'll really give out there. So again, just think about what story you're trying to tell with your items, and stay consistent to that. Again, overspending does not always equal quality. Overspending isn't always, the best decision. Try to keep everything in check, and then, we'll be able to kind of curate something that fits your brand. So, you'll see that right now in part 3, and we'll kind of get into more details about that.
Oops. Thank you so much, Sarah. I'm looking forward to part 3 and part 4. And all of Sarah's cannabis clip notes will be available on all the Women's Cannabis Chamber of Commerce social media, on our website, and also on YouTube. So you can go back and review this information. So again, thank you so much.